Thank you for joining us once again at The Last Video Store, the show where I, Alexi Toliopoulos, talk to cool, funny, interesting, and exciting people about their favourite films. And this week is part 2 of our favourite films of 2025. Last week, we went through a top 10 with my dear friend, Melbourne International Film Festival programmer, Kate Jinx, talking about our top 10 favourite films of the year. This week, Kate joins me once again to talk through our favourite documentaries, favourite Australian films, a few other things, and also joining me later on in the episode is my dear friend, producer M.
True, and I'm here now as well.
You're here now. We're going to be talking about our favourite comedy films of the year.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. There'll be later in the episode. This is, once again, part 2 of our best of the year. And this two-parter, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Dan Murphy's. Nobody beats Dan Murphy's lowest liquor price guarantee. Found it cheaper, they will beat it. T's and C's apply. That stands for terms and conditions.
I've heard.
So what I've also been doing in these episodes to thank our friends at Dan Murphy's is pairing a film with a drink. So stick around because later on I'll be pairing a film with a drink. People always go to me like, what do you do to drink and eat in the cinema? What's your secret? There's no secret. I don't freaking eat in the cinema. When I'm at home, I don't do popcorn at home. That's crazy. I don't do any stuff like that. I'm usually, I would say, either dry or lubed up with a nice beverage. I'm talking a beer, I'm talking a wine, I'm talking a nice cocktail. So that is what I'll be doing later in the episode. I'll be talking about a drink that I'm pairing with a selection of something today. So let's get into our best of 2025 part 2. Welcome back to another Best of 2025 episode of The Last Video Store, the show where I, Alexi Toliopoulos, talk to people about their favourite films. Last time you tuned in, we talked about the big group of 10 films that I and my guests thought were the best films of 2025. And here we're going through a few categories. And joining me to do so again, it is Kate Jinx.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me back.
It is my pleasure to have you back. Like I said last time, you are possibly my favorite person to watch movies with. Actually, I would say definitely my favorite person to watch movies with. And possibly my favorite person. Full stop.
Oh,
End
Alexi!
of thought. Yes, I'm being honest with you right now. It's true. But I really want to continue our conversation of talking about some of films of note, films that we want to kind of give some love to and help curate experiences for people to be catching up with great films. We've seen a lot this year, you even more so than I have. And
if
so
possible.
I want to go through some categories, but before we do that, we locked off our top 10, which was last week. Sinners, One Battle After Another, It Was Just an Accident, Mighty Supreme, Harvest from Me, The Secret Agent from Me, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You from Me, From You, The Mastermind, Sorry Baby, and Peter Hujar's Day. When I say Peter Hujar's Day Off.
Oh my gosh, that's a sequel I want to see.
Now that is an idea. Mr. R.S. Sachs, we've got an idea to pitch to you. How do you feel about breaking the fourth wall?
Oh, Ben Whishaw doing Dunkershane on a car. Beautiful.
Okay, now that is really good. And that is probably a good argument for why AI should be used in film. Because we could create that film instantly right now.
Take that back.
But let's start with some honourable mentions, some films that just missed that top 10 list for you. What's one that you want to highlight straight away?
Well, Sentimental Value, I thought was a really beautiful film.
I was surprised it didn't make your list.
I just was edged out at the last minute, but by Peter Hujar's Day.
Yes.
But I think it's a really strong film. I think it's probably my favorite of the director's films, and it comes out just for Christmas here in Australia. Boxing Day film, and it's kind of the perfect Boxing Day film for me. A story of family. It's very funny. It's kind of bittersweet. All set in contemporary Oslo. Delicious.
I thought this was even better than The Worst Person in the World, which is a film I liked quite a lot. I think that what Joachim Trier I'll leave it all in. Leave it all in. I think what he's able to do here is like that segmented vignette style of storytelling. It allows for something quite resonant to absorb you in this film. But what really got me is the performances are incredible. Stellan Skarsgård, amazing. Renata Rensiv, amazing. But Elle Fanning was who really took me in this film, because she has to thread this needle that I think is fascinating. She has to play a good actor who is great at acting and can do a scene in this film well, but just that tiny bit off the mark. And I go, how can you do that?
Yeah, I thought it was a great move for her. And also just that there is no kind of easy villain in this film. That you think that the plot, because it's about kind of these two adult daughters whose their mother has died and they're left with their kind of semi-estranged father, who is a famous director, who is trying desperately to get one of his daughters to play a character in his new film, which is loosely based on his own mother who died by suicide in the house that they grew up in. So there's a lot going on, a lot of family drama. And it's just, I don't know. I've seen it twice. And I think even the second time I saw it, I was particularly moved by it. And the soundtrack is fantastic. One of the best soundtracks of the year.
I think he's great at assembling a mixtape between this film and Worst Person in the World. Many of my Spotify Wrappeds are dedicated to his work, I'd say. But that is Sentiment and Value. Any other ones you want to kind of rattle off?
Okay, really quickly. I loved A Poet. I hope it gets a release. It won our major award at MIFF this year, the Bright Horizons Award.
Which highlights first and second films, right?
Yeah, and it's by Simon Messasoto. It's his debut feature. It's so extraordinary, Chilean film about this like beleaguered poet who is sort of attaches himself to what he sees as a rising star in his poetry class. But he's been sort of edged out by the industry for decades. And God, it's so funny and dark. It's such a darkly humorous movie and so sweaty, intense. I just see sweat when I think of this movie. I loved it. I loved The President's Cake.
I loved The President's Cake. Yeah, this is set in Iraq, right? During one of the Gulf Wars, American occupation. Yes, I'll say that. That's my political...
Wow, so brave.
Yeah, I'll say it. But I found this to be just an excellent film.
Yeah, beautiful and quite sad, and lots of kind of like Kiarostami kind of style film.
Yes.
Very beautiful. It won the Chantal Akerman Award at Cannes this year too, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think this is a great film. I mean, it's set in 1990s Iraq. A 9-year-old Lamia must bake Saddam Hussein's birthday cake. It is a thing that her class is doing where each of them have to bring a birthday gift for Saddam Hussein. And it's her, like you said, it's kind of like a Kiarostami where it's a young child that's on an adventure of daily life, trying to like find all these things, the ingredients to kind of bake a cake for them. Just love this movie. Yeah,
it's great. And I loved Harris Dickinson's Urchin.
I've not yet seen this.
Oh, it's really wonderful. You would think Harris Dickinson, okay, you're a director now. Kay Stu, you're a director now. I will say they both are. They're both fantastic films. Chronology of Water, also very good. But Urchin is like a kind of social realist British film about a young unhoused man played by Frank Delane, who is kind of in and out of jail and addiction. And it's sort of about someone sleeping rough and trying to get their life back on track while kicking an addiction, but it just kind of keeps coming back, and it has like these very beautiful surreal moments in it. Frank Delane, wow, fantastic. And I also loved, God, I'm really on The Boys this year. I've never said that before, but Lurker. I loved Lurker.
Oh, I just saw Lurker as well. Lurker is so fun.
It's really good.
Like a great movie about fame, a specific level of fame, a great film about stalking in a modern context. I really enjoyed this film.
It was great. And I love the French-Canadian actor, Theodore Pellerin, who plays the Lurker essentially. And he's in another film that's going to come out next year that I saw at Cannes, and I just think he's one of the best young actors, him and Frank Delane. But yeah, that's about it for me. What about you? Honourable mentions.
Honourable mentions, I'd love to give some love to Train Dreams. This was the film that was closest to making that top 10 for me. I think it is Joel Edgerton's best performance. It is from Clint Bentley, who co-wrote... Oh, God, I can't remember the name of the film. He co-wrote that film with Coleman Domingo last year. I didn't see it. That's why I didn't even know the name.
Yeah, I know the one.
It was nominated for a bunch of stuff. That's why it's not in my head. I didn't get a chance to see it. It's called Sing Sing, yes.
That's it.
It's called Sing Sing, and I'm not going to edit that out. I'm leaving it all in so you all know how my brain works. But this is visual and storytelling majesty in Train Dreams. It is the most beautiful and effective use of digital photography to capture nature and a period setting that I've ever seen. Okay. It's the kind of film that you would anticipate, they must be shooting this on film. It's set in the frontier while they're lopping down these giant trees. But no, it's all digital photography. They're in these big wide shots, and I think they're not 4:3, but it's a squared off image to capture heights, to capture like the height of these trees. And they're these big wide shots, so you see an entire scene play out, almost like a freaking postcard or a photograph or something. Just incredible work from Joel Edgerton as well. Yeah. I really, really like this film. I would urge you to see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
There are echoes of a Kelly Reichardt approach to this kind of material that I think is really great. That's Train Dreams. I also wanted to say... a film that I saw in the Bright Horizons program, like you just mentioned, A Useful Ghost.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is a Thai film that I don't really know how to describe it. I think it's the freshest comedy I've seen that is so uniquely funny. It evokes this absurd, genuine beauty that feels like a Murakami short story, but even more wacky. There's nothing quite like this. It's basically ghosts start possessing appliances, but it finds like a romance in that, and a beauty and a sentimentality. It's so weird and unique. Like, looks like in the same kind of style as a Wes Anderson film, where it's highly stylized and beautiful, but I don't know. It's just, how would you even describe this film? I don't know.
I don't know. It's like a black comedy, drama, surrealist fantasy.
A bit of horror in there
capitalism
as well.
And industrialization. It's such a strange and beautiful film. I think Ratchapum Bumbunchachok is just a total director to watch.
Yes.
Like, young kind of Thai auteur.
Yeah, definitely. There's another young filmmaker that I want to highlight their work this year. I believe this is the narrative directorial debut of Akinola Davies Jr. It is a film called My Father's Shadow, which is just a mesmerizing, moving emotion through this kind of like detailed, immersive authenticity, creating this true sense of verisimilitude. This is from a filmmaker who I think has mainly a documentary background, and I think that informs so much of how real this movie feels. It's about two young boys who reconnect with their estranged father, and they go through this voyage into Lagos that is set in the background of the presidential election. So it's... I think this is just a beautiful film.
It is a beautiful film, yeah. Can I just throw in one last one?
Please,
Sorry.
of course.
It is coming out next year, but it was
We're
a
freeforming
favorite of mine. Pillion. I mentioned in the last episode very briefly.
I don't know Pillion.
It'll come out in Australia in like early 2026, I think, or mid 2026 maybe. It's first-time filmmaker Harry Leighton. It's a British film. It's based on a novel that a lot of my English friends have read and I've not read. But it stars Harry Melling.
I don't know Harry Melling.
Harry Melling is in Harvest. He plays the landowner.
Yes.
Original landowner.
Yeah.
We think he is. And he is also in Harry Potter series.
He is.
And
he's Dudley Dursley.
Yes, he is. And Alexander Skarsgård is in it. It is a gay BDSM biker movie. And it is just great.
Yes, I cannot wait for this.
Yeah,
one.
so Harry Melling plays this like young, very nervous guy who gets into a relationship with this extremely enigmatic biker who is the total dom to his sub.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can't wait for this.
It's really great because it's about kind of like a gay kink film. But it takes it really seriously. It's not it's funny, but it's not it's never laughing at the thing. It takes that form of relationship and like sexual energy really seriously. And I loved that for it.
So you're saying Pillion is to BDSM underworld culture the same way that Marty Supreme is to ping pong and table tennis, where
I suppose
seems unexpected, but they take it very seriously, and you're convinced of it the entire way through.
Yeah, and it stars this. It features an actual gay bike gang from England in it, playing themselves, and the scenes are like quite full on, quite intense. I loved it.
Wow, I can't wait to see this. Not since the two fat ladies have been so excited for a gay bikey duo. The other ones I want to highlight, I've got 3 genre pictures that I really enjoyed. Weapons from Zach Cregger.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's really fun. It's a really good time. And you would adore Amy Madigan's performance.
I've heard.
She's witchy. It's a witchy film. The other 2 that I want to highlight, have you seen 28 Years Later?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I actually haven't seen any of those films.
Wow. Oh, okay. Christmas Day's calling you. I think watch some zombie films over Christmas Day. 28 Years Later, I thought was terribly special. Like, I knew almost nothing going in. Do you know what? It would be a good pairing with Harvest.
Okay.
It would actually be a good pairing with Harvest. It stirs up something quite moving and profound. It plays more on... it plays more on like heroic myth and almost like folklore than a zombie film ever has. Like it's more in that kind of vein than anything else. So unexpected. Ray Fiennes is incredible in it, and so is Jodie Comer. I think it's genuinely a very special film. 28 Years Later. Danny Boyle uses all the experimental instincts to make it so. And the last one I want to highlight, unexpected. This is my plane movie that I'm giving the top marks for the year. Final Destination Bloodlines.
I also haven't seen it.
I loved this.
That seems like a plane film.
It's a great plane film. I would say...
No disrespect. I love a plane. I'm on planes a lot. I love them.
Exactly. I mean, intense respect to this film. I like the Final Destination series a lot, and I think this might be the best entry. Okay. What I think it does really well is that it takes 2 new approaches. One of them that all the characters are related to each other. So there is higher stakes in that you're feeling more for each character. They're not just like anonymous teens that you couldn't give a shit about getting chopped up by a series of Rube Goldberg like misadventures. But here it is, you really give a shit. You kind of have an idea of the order they should be going in. And I think that's great. And there's a new approach to the kills in that they are delivered with a familiar precision, but there's also a couple that have, like I would say, described as a delightfully laissez-faire approach to the Rube Goldberg destructions in this film. Really, really liked Final Destination Bloodlines. That is my surprise thing for me of the year, but I'd also say it has a great final performance from the wonderful Tony Todd, where, you know, it's him coming back to a series he's been a big part of for a long time, and it's also a bit of an epitaph for his entire career, and a career that's been in this genre of horror for most of it, I'd say. But those are my honorable mentions. I would also say, why don't we look at some categories? Oh, yeah. I think that this has been an interesting year for documentary factual cinema. You already sent me a long list of documentary films that you liked. I would say as long as our top 10, basically. So what are the documentary films that you want to cover?
I'll be really quick. I loved Pee-wee Herman as himself by Matt Wolfe. Extraordinary.
You're Matt Wolfe you're like one of the biggest Matt Wolfe fans, I'd say.
Love his films.
Yeah.
He's an incredibly thoughtful and empathetic documentarian who focuses on, I think, kind of creatives and artists who are often working from kind of outside the mainstream, and they're doing something actually incredibly important.
And this must have been like a match made in heaven for you, because I do know you're Pee Wee Herman appreciator as well.
Love that, Paul Rubens. Yeah. And and I knew that Matt was working on it for and a very long time, like many, many years, and knowing the back and forth of that. But it's a beautiful documentary, and like often I don't love in a documentary where the director, unless it's about themselves, when they feature in it.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like a masterclass in how to do it, because it's so compelling, because Paul Rubens he wants to tell his story
His way,
and he just is not ready to like relinquish the full power of of handing his story over to someone. And there's this amazing like push and pull between director and subject throughout the whole film, and like Paul kind of taking back his desires to be featured in the film, or what he's willing to show, and then like Matt having to try to wrestle it back out of him. And it's really extraordinary stuff, and the archive is just amazing. Paul Rubens is this young CalArts student in drag, and it's a two-part documentary which was on streaming.
So it's not a movie.
It is because it should be seen as a film.
Yeah.
Executive produced by the Safdies and Nora Brunstein as well. But yeah, just so extraordinary.
I actually have not seen this. I'm really looking forward to it.
Alexi, I cannot. You need to.
Devastate me,
you need to. It will, but it is so beautiful. Another one that will devastate you is Come See Me in the Good Light. Did you see this one?
No, I don't know this film. So I believe this is about a Colorado poet laureate.
It sure is, about the late Andrea Gibson. They passed just after the film had played a number of festivals. It's by Ryan White, American documentary filmmaker. But it's about, so Andrea Gibson was a incredibly well-known poet that I was not aware of.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a hard sell, this documentary, but it's so worth watching. It's about how when Andrea and their partner Megan Falley, who is also a poet, found out that Andrea was essentially dying of ovarian cancer, they invited this kind of documentary team in and to stay with them through the whole journey. And it's really beautiful, and it's very funny. Like, there's like, of course, when things are really tough and really awful, it's always like the humor rises to the surface. So it is like incredibly touching, incredibly funny. Tig Notaro was one of the producers, and Tig is like, was one of Andrea's like closest friends for like 20 years. It's really extraordinary. And it played a few festivals, played Sydney and Melbourne. And it is streaming now, I think on Apple. And it's just like, you need to watch this.
I think Apple TV Plus or whatever, their documentary slate is always quite strong.
Yeah, it is.
One of the other ones I want to highlight is a film that you and I both liked a lot, Pavements. From Alex Ross Perry, which is documentary hybrid about the band Pavements. I think it's just a lot of fun. I think he's a great filmmaker, and seeing him work in like this hybridized space is so interesting to me, because I think his film Her Smell a few years ago with Elizabeth Moss is one of the greatest rock biopics about a fictional person that's told in such an interesting vignette style. To see him go even further with Pavements is just a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a really great documentary, and I really love how it captures the kind of, I don't know, like playful spirit and energy of Pavement, one of my favorite bands, without them really truly being involved in it. And there's like a fake biopic in it with like incredible stars. Jason Schwartzman's so funny in it. And then you've got this like gallery, like a museum of pavement that was real for a few days, and then bands coming in to play pavement covers, and then you've got this rock musical that really did happen, which is so painfully earnest. Like it's so, you will cringe so much, but also that's what makes the whole thing so beautiful. It pulls it together.
The way that he talks about pavements as being poetry is like, oh, he got to make a film about that band that he feels uniquely connected to, that everyone has that experience with, where it's like everyone has like that one weird band that no one else around them feels that way for. He got to do everything with it.
Yeah, it's so great.
The other ones I'd love to highlight as well in that space, this is a film that has stuck with me all year and it felt like such a surprise to me. I've covered it on this show before, but Marlene Williams' Two Worlds, directed by Ursula Grace Williams. I love this film. I did not know too much about Marlon Williams going in. I was familiar enough with him, but this is a documentary about the making of his album that is his first work in Te Reo Maori language, which is a language that he's not fluent in, but is an expression of his culture. And I think that this is just top tier artist portrait documentary of all, like of everyone that I've ever seen. Like this is just really, really special. I cannot urge people to jump on this enough. It really moved me. I think it's so beautifully made. I think it is so nicely in line with its subject and so nicely plays sound and vision together. I just think this is a very, very special film. It's on Doc Play now, so people can access this wherever you watch Doc Play. Like, I think that this is a really, really great film. Have you had a chance to see this one yet?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Oh, good. I really think this is so special.
Yeah. Yes. Do you know, I hadn't seen it when we sat with him.
When we sat next to Marlon Williams when we saw The Passion of Joan of Arc together, all sitting together in a row. And you did say, great film. And I said, good. It's really good. Yeah.
It is really beautiful. I really loved the film. I don't think it is on streaming yet. I hope it will be soon. John Lilly and the Earth Coincidence Control Office.
This has been on my radar. I've not had a chance to see it
It's so good, by Michael Almereyda and Courtney Stevens. It's narrated by Chloe Sevigny, and it's... I could talk all day about this film and the subject, but I'll keep it quick. John Lilly essentially was a kind of famous scientist who was very well respected and then partly kind of derided. He became quite convinced that he was able to communicate with dolphins. He is the one who set up like a house to live in with a dolphin in Florida, I think, or Hawaii. And, had all these other kind of animal... people come to help him, and there was like one woman who maybe had something of a sexual relationship with this one dolphin. He got really into trepanning and into acid. He invented what are they called? The pods where you flotation. He invented flotation tanks. It's a great documentary. It's so interesting. It's like it ticks pretty much every box for me, this doc.
And what's that one called again?
John Lilly and the Earth Coincidence Control Office.
The last one that I'm going to highlight that I know you have yet to see yet. This is a film that I saw at South by Southwest Sydney, and it was just a real coincidence. I just happened to be at the cinema. I thought I may as well just go see this. This is a documentary called American Theatre, and this is to me an essential text to witnessing Trumpian MAGA culture today. It's an excellent verite documentary about a cancelled, quote-unquote, theatre director who summons a troupe of conservative actors to an abandoned cabin in rural Georgia to plot revenge on the Atlanta theatre community with a musical retelling of the 1692 Salem witch trials. So this is about a theatre practitioner
Sorry, this is a documentary?
It's a documentary. And of course, it plays much like, many Christopher Guest films that are in that kind of way. But it's very, 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 very real, very verite, like just in that moment capturing. It's about this theatre practitioner who made immersive outdoor theatre experiences. And the way that the director, Nick Clark, talks about seeing a production of Miss Saigon out in a field in Atlanta, Georgia, where an actual helicopter comes and lands. He said it was one of the most insane, powerful theater experiences he's ever had. So he's always been curious about this guy. Then this guy gets cancelled for
doing Miss Saigon?
No, for doing some nasty things.
Okay.
And then he essentially just becomes a right-wing grifter. And that is what this is all about. I think it's just must-see stuff. I don't know where it will be available. Keep American theatre in your heart and mind because I think it is really, really good. And Nick Clark really pushes for the audience to look further into explore further like the actual journalistic covering around this film as well. There's a really good piece about this if you're curious. It's about Brian Cloudis, who's the theatre creator this is about. The piece is immersive theatre that left scars behind the collapse of Serenbe Playhouse, and that is from a publication that shares the name of the film American Theatre.
Okay, I need to see this.
This is really cool film.
That sounds so up my alley.
There is one documentary that I know is in both of our favorite films of the year, which is an Australian-made documentary, which I hope can lead us into having a little discussion about some of our favorite films of the year.
I've got one more doc.
I'll go for it, yeah.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind.
I just have to highlight Zodiac Killer Project by Charlie Shackleton.
I love
which
Charlie
was
Shackleton's work.
Same. I knew he would be a friend of yours.
I have met him, but I don't think we got along that well to call each other friends, but I do appreciate his work.
I love him. I love his work. And this documentary is so great. Essentially, he wanted to make a film, narrative feature about this detective who worked on the Zodiac mystery, essentially. Serial killer. Yeah. And he worked with the estate, essentially, to turn his memoir into a film. And he shot, he did a lot of recce's and shot, working out exactly where they were going to make the film and exactly kind of storyboarding it. And then things turned a bit sour with the family, with the estate, and he was unable to make this film. So instead, he made a film about the film he wanted to make, shot on all the locations that he was going to use, and he talks you through the film and the specific scenes that he's going to make. But at the same time, it is kind of an unpacking of the tropes of crime, television, and the way that true crime is seen and used on screen in documentary and in television.
This sounds like a Jaffa Panahi film.
It's really extraordinary.
A guy talking about a film he wanted to make.
Yeah, and it's so clever the way it looks at the tropes of true crime, and also then we see Charlie narrates the whole thing, and a few times we get to see him kind of in the recording studio, and it's very funny as well. Like a lot of his work, it's very funny.
He's got a great sense of humor.
Very dry.
Yeah.
It's played a bunch of festivals and it's done very, very well for itself, this documentary.
Yeah.
So I hope that it gets a bigger release.
Well, it's got a very sexy title.
Zodiac Killer Project.
Yeah, very sexy title. That's Charlie Shackleton should do a bit more of that, of just going I've got the sexiest title for this experimental documentary to get you in there. The final documentary that I want to talk about is one that I know you and I both have a lot of love for, and is probably somewhere in our year of end list as well. It's also an Australian-made documentary, so hopefully that can help transition us into a little brief conversation about some of our favourite Australian films of the year. But this is the easiest recommendation I could ever give is for this incredible documentary from Konstantin Kosti, The Golden Spurtle. Now, The Golden Spurtle is a competition in a Scottish village in the Highlands where contenders from around the globe come to battle it out to be the grand champion of porridge making for the entire world. And this film follows Sydney-based chef Toby Wilson, who I've dined at his taco restaurant, Rico's Tacos, probably 100 times.
Wow.
So I'm a big Toby Wilson fan. And it follows him going to compete at this. This film is so fun. It's so funny. It's beautifully shot by Dimitri Saunders, who's a dear friend of mine.
And a wonderful cinematographer. One of our best.
He's one of our best. And I think that he will be
one of the best.
One of the very best.
Yeah.
Like of it, generationally good cinematographer. And to see his eye be placed on something like this. I remember catching up with Dimitri like maybe 2 years ago. We went to see Uncle Boon Me together at the Art Gallery of New South Wales. And I was like, what are you up to next? Like, I'm just about to go fly to Scotland to work on this documentary about porridge making. And in my head, I was like, that will be beautiful because he's shooting it. And in my head, I thought it'd be, do you know what movie I pictured it would be? That sauna sisterhood documentary.
Smoke Sauna Sisterhood.
Yeah, where it's like
I loved
slow
that.
cinema, enveloping. I loved that documentary too. That's what I imagined. But instead what it is deeply funny, beautiful characters. Konstantin Kosti is so good at... and also, full credit to Rebecca Lamont, who's the producer of this film, incredible producer and great documentary producer. I think they all work really well together to create these great characters, to find these real people and then to turn those people into characters in a way that feels very loving and not exploitational in the way documentaries do. It's very gentle. Seeing this film... I think I saw this film 2 or 3 times in big sold-out cinemas, including the State Theatre in Sydney, and it just plays so well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film. I remember when I bumped into the producer a little time before, like when they were trying to get the money together, I think. And she was telling me what she was working on, and as soon as she said, "I'm working on a porridge document," I was like, "The Golden Spurtle," and she was like, "What?"
You knew the Golden Spurtle?
I was like,
before going
I follow
in?
the Golden Spurtle every year.
Wow.
So I was deeply invested in this project, and it was just beautiful. It's really moving because it's, partly about this man who's been kind of running. He's like the head of the Golden Spurtle, and it's his time to move on. But I love the early scenes where he introduces you to the town of Carbridge, this like Highlands town that he just dearly loves. And it's really sweet and funny and moving. Yeah. And the cinematography is gorgeous. And I think that because the director, Konstantin Kosti, is from kind of the world of opera and theatre, I believe this is his feature film debut.
I think so, yeah.
That it sort of elevates it above that kind of competition documentary. We see a lot of competition documentaries that kind of often they're always really fun and great, but they're quite same a little bit. Like they go through the same kind of plot line. But this is something a bit different, and it's also just not so much about who actually wins ever.
It's not competition.
No.
It's not a film about competition. It's a film about people
who love their porridge.
Yeah, it's just really, really fun. It's in Australian cinemas in December. Do go see it.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got your parents in town over Christmas...
Yeah.
Dude, this is the easiest
perfect.
recommendation.
Yeah.
This is the film that I've recommended to so many people. As soon as it ended, Kate, I messaged my dear friend David Alat, aka Todd Noy from Finding Drago, hey, this is a film you're absolutely going to love.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I think he might have even gone and seen it at the Sheffield Documentary Festival or something.
Great.
I know he was trying to go see it at one of the festivals this year, one of the documentary festivals. But that is documentary film. We're running out of time. We're very close here. Let's just talk about a couple of Australian films. Okay. Leading into our next segment, we will be talking about some of our favourite Australian films of the year. So here I am branching back out with producer M one more time because this is where I wanted to do our perfect pairing.
Yes, thanks to Dan Murphy's.
Thanks to Dan Murphy's. Nobody beats Dan Murphy's. I wanted to pair some films with some drinks. And I really want to do an Australian pairing today because I think we make freaking great films in Australia. In particular, this year, there are quite a lot of films that we do cover in this upcoming segment, talking about our favourite films from Australia. I want to keep it local. So I'm thinking about stuff. And I was trying to think, okay, what was M's favourite movie? She's going to be the one drinking this. And I know you're such a horror head, right?
Correct.
And there were quite a few big Australian horror films this year. Bring Her Back, one of them. But another film that I know you loved because we saw it together,
We did.
You know what it is? You know what I'm thinking about?
My favourite Australian film this year was probably Together.
Yes, Michael Shank's Together. I loved this movie as well. This is one of my favourite films of the year. And I'm thinking about this movie. This is a dirty local Aussie film. So I thought, what about a lovely dirty martini made with some local gin? I've chosen Port Tom's. I love Port Tom's gin. And this is my actual martini recipe that I'm going to give you right now.
Please.
This is what I do. For one, I do 2.5 ounces of gin, half an ounce of dry vermouth, a generous splash of olive brine. Usually at home, I would also do a little splash of some Greek chili brine as well.
Really? That sounds
Yes.
amazing.
That's a little extra flavour. And then just like an olive, maybe 3 for garnish.
You've got to have 3. That's the correct amount.
Well, I've only got 1 in the cup. Chuck some more in, mate.
It'll
Chuck
make
some more
do.
in. I brought my olives from home today, so I didn't bring as many as I normally do.
Very Greek of you.
Very Greek of me. So here we go. This is my beautiful Port Tom's Aussie Gin Martini. Here we go.
And you've also told me that you are the anti-James Bond and you only ever stir. You don't shake.
Shaking a martini, it's actually disgusting to me. I would not do that. Every time I've gone to a bar and they start shaking, I go, well, I'm going to despise this.
Really?
Yeah, it's not good. You don't do it because it dilutes.
Okay.
Martini's not to be dilute. It's meant to be quite clear.
Okay.
Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. This looks fantastic. Oh, yeah.
That's
That
really
is good.
That's really good. So I also love this movie. And what did you love about Together?
Well, I love the performances. I am so obsessed with Alison Brie and
Dave Franco.
Dave Franco.
Well, I mean, it's to them, they're married in real life. I don't think you could have a couple, like, how could you cast people that are just friends or colleagues or actors to do performances this out there and brave and this embracing of everything that horror can do?
I know.
I think you couldn't do it without these two actors, let alone
Their
two other
chemistry
actors.
was off the charts because they are married. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
I liked that they played Americans. We didn't have 2 Americans on screen trying to do Australian accents,
Yeah.
so it was very
I
believable.
would like that too.
And I love how it told the story of a relationship, a flawed relationship,
Yeah.
in a completely new and interesting way. I think we stepped out of the cinema and I was just like, that was so relatable in so many ways.
It's a very honest film, and I love that thing. It's something I talk about a lot on these shows, is using genre to communicate something.
Yes.
And I think this is such a grand example of using genre to communicate the feelings of relationship, feelings of inadequacy, feelings of like tension in relationship, but doing it all sent through in an envelope of a great genre picture. This is Together, great film. My perfect pairing. Dirty, horror, grubby movie, lots of mud, pairing up with a nice, dirty Australian martini with Port Tom's gin. Thank you very much at Dan Murphy's. Nobody beats Dan Murphy's. Lowest liquor price guarantee. If you've seen it cheaper, they will beat it. Terms and conditions apply.
Shop in-store or online at danmurphys.com.au.
And drink wise. For me, Bring Her Back, the new film from the Philippou brothers, really resonated with me, deeply moved me. I've covered it on an episode already, so go back to see a full conversation with me and the Philippou brothers. But I think this is even better than Talk to Me, because I think in that film I detected this this kind of depth to the way that they were expressing grief and mourning in a way that resonated with me, because I'm Greek Australian, they're Greek Australian. I think we experience mourning and loss in the same way. And I felt that in Talk to Me. And then they fully explored it in this film. And I couldn't believe that they did it. I really, really like this. It's a hard recommendation. I know you haven't seen it.
I'm a bit scared too.
I don't know if you could hack it.
Wow,
I actually don't know.
Okay then,
But
sure, I will watch it. Thank
my
you.
reverse psychology worked. I'm a genius. And I loved Inside from Charles Williams as well. I think that this is
Great film.
really, really special film. I know it played Bright Horizons in 2024.
Yep.
And I think it's a really, really strong, beautifully performed film. And then Lesbian Space Princess.
Oh, great. That's a good one to put in.
Really funny.
Yeah, really good.
funny. Looks beautiful. Can't wait to own the Blu-ray that's coming out very soon. I already own the sweatshirt. Really like that. Together, I really enjoyed. You saw
I can
Together
imagine
as well?
you in that sexy bitch sweatshirt.
Hey, you don't have to imagine. I'll send you a photo as soon as I get back home. Together, I really enjoyed. I know that you had a good time talking to the filmmaker during one of the screenings at Melbourne.
Yeah, I did. did. It was at his the Sun in Yarraville. It's like the cinema that he grew up with. Was
Michael
really
Shanks.
great.
I don't know why I said the filmmaker. I know his name.
Yeah, no, it was. It's the fact that it opened Sydney Film Festival, and we had. If I had legs, I'd kick you as opening Melbourne. So
I think the festivals in the last couple of years go like, we should program really fun movies to play at our big audiences. And I think that's great.
I really enjoyed Together. One of my favorites, which I hope will come out properly in 2026, I'm sure it will. It's First Light by James J. Robinson, and it is an extraordinary film.
This is an Australian-Filipino co-production.
Yeah, and this was in Bright Horizons at MIF this year. And it's just this amazing film about a nun in the Philippines who lives in this kind of small village sort of outside of Manila in the mountains, played by Ruby Ruiz, who is just a star and just one of the best people I met all year. She's wonderful. She came out as a guest. Amazing. And it's about her kind of dealing with kind of of capitalism, but also faith and her kind of potential loss of faith, and sort of looking into how things are changing in her world as a young kind of novice nun kind of comes in and she shadows Ruby Ruiz.
There's a bit of a director, there's a bit of a detective genre through line to this film that I think really kept me on the line. But the film is made by one of our great photography artists as well. And the cinematography of this film is beautiful.
Well, the cinematography is by Amy Della, and I think she is so one to watch. Like, her work is fabulous in this film. And James, he's just got an amazing eye and... it's so exciting that this is his first feature as well. Like, he's well known as a fashion photographer. And so for him to come out with this like deeply moving story about a nun in Manila, it's like, okay.
I'm so glad you highlighted this. I think this is a very, very special film.
Yeah, wonderful.
Very, very special film. Well, it's time for us to wrap up.
Okay.
So the only thing I'm going to ask you before we wrap up is, what was the great film discovery you had this year? Could be at home, from previous years past, or something maybe you got to see in the cinema, maybe a new remaster, a new restoration. One or two films that really moved you that way.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I'll be really quick with this. I see a lot of restorations. It's one of my favorite things to do as part of my work. I loved Will by Jessie Maple from 1981. It was I think it's the first independent feature made by an African-American woman. It's all set in Harlem. It was made on like an absolute shoestring budget. It was... restored in 4K this year. I saw it at LAFM and then played it at MIF. It's really extraordinary. Sumitra Piri's film The Girls from Sri Lanka, 1978. I feel like this is such a beautiful film, but I really feel like if Sofia Coppola hasn't seen it, she truly should.
Yes.
There's lots of like beautiful shots of like little bobby socks in shoes. Really great. I loved Rabina Rose's film Night Shift from 1981. It was like a buried treasure of British cinema. I'd never heard of it. I hadn't heard of the director at all. So it was like a true kind of discovery when I not my discovery, because I saw it at a festival. I saw it at New York Film Festival about a year ago.
I think this was one you messaged me about after seeing it. I've yet to be able to watch it.
So great. It's like all set over one night, night shift at this really seedy, down at heel Portobello hotel. And I also got to see a lot. I put together this major Chantal Ackerman program at MIF this year, and got to revisit all of her work, and was such a great time for me, career highlight. But to see some of her work, like we played the premieres of the restorations, and so having seen so much of her work in like terrible grainy copies, bad uploads, etc. A few Russian websites were visited, but to see them beautifully remastered was just extraordinary.
Illegal Russian streams are one of the great allies to art house cinema exploration for anyone growing up as a film lover. The ones that I'll highlight very, very quickly, to go back to our previous conversation, the greatest cinematic blessing I've had this year was being able to see this Jaffa Panay film retrospective at Sydney Film Festival. before going to see any of his films there, the only film of his that I had seen was Taxi Tehran, or Tehran Taxi, or just Taxi. It's got many titles that are almost all exactly the same, which is more documentary hybridity from him. But going to see like almost every film he's ever made. They played every film he's ever made. I only missed a couple that I'm still catching up with, but I want to savor them. My favorite was The Circle from 2000, which I believe is his second film. And this is a great film in capturing these kind of shifting perspectives of people. It's about women under the rule of a regime in Iran. I just love this. So beautifully made. I've thought about this movie so much since seeing it. The other one that I want to highlight, that's The Circle by Jeff Uppenai. Check it out, but also see all of his films. He made 10 films. They're all fantastic. It Was Just an Accident was both one of our favorite films of the year.
I think probably the favorite.
Yeah, I think it's like my favorite film I've seen in like a long time.
Yeah.
Since The Irishman. I don't know if The Irishman was the one, but since 2019 was my last great year at the cinema, I'd say.
God, I think we saw that together.
We saw it with David Stratton.
We did see it with David Stratton.
David Stratton. After that, the other restoration I saw Pink Narcissus by James Bidgood at Queer Screen. It was a collaboration between Queer Screen Film Festival and First Film Festival, which just love this. I'd seen it once before on like a grainy laptop when I interviewed Peter Strickland about a short film that he'd made that was in homage to this film. But Pink Narcissus is very, very special. It's an erotic tone poem, I'd describe it as, that is filmed all in one tiny little apartment, but you would never believe that because it feels so big and expansive. The sets are beautiful. But Pink Narcissus, I would love to put that on the radar of any cinephiles that have yet to explore queer erotica. I think it is for many people a final frontier in becoming a full-fledged cinephile.
Yeah.
And Pink Narcissus is just a very, very special, well-made film.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I went to a screening of it. I think it was the premiere in New York, and actually they played at New Fest, and then I saw the next screening, which was at Metrograph. And it was after the screening of the film, which I'd seen before, but a bad copy.
Yep.
So it was incredible to see the colours on screen. Yeah. Wow. On that big screen. But there was a post-screening Q&A with Kelly McCaig from the Jim Bidgood estate, Jim Bidgood, the director, and Matt Wolfe in discussion about this film and how it was made and the time period. It was just like fascinating conversation. Great film.
Great film. So that is a wrap-up on our year in 2025 in cinema. Good year for film, great year for friendship. You and I talk about films.
I love you, Alexi.
Love you, mate. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
The last video store.
My thanks to Kate Jinx for joining me on this episode. But before we wrap it up, there's one conversation I didn't get to have with Kate, which is talking about our favorite comedy films that arrived in cinemas or on streaming in the year 2025. And I thought, who better to join me for this conversation than someone who I'd consider quite a fucking comedy nerd. We are joined by producer M for this conversation.
I thought you were going to say the funniest person you know.
Oh, well, I've met some really funny people. You would probably be in the top 400, so that's quite...
Wow,
I've met hundreds of comedians, so maybe you'll probably be funnier than most comedians I know, actually. So you'd be quite high up. But you're a massive comedy nerd.
Yeah, I love comedy. I really do.
You used to have a podcast about fucking Adam Sandler, mate.
I do love Adam Sandler.
You're obsessed with this guy.
He doesn't just do comedy these days, does he? Would you call him a comedy guy?
I would call him a comedian, yeah.
Yeah, true. He literally did stand-up comedy.
Yeah, but I want to talk to you about comedy films. One of them stars Adam Sandler. I saw Jay Kelly. It's kind of a comedy, I guess.
Yeah.
He's fantastic in it. But I really want to talk about, it felt like this year was a year where comedy could be big in cinema. And there's 3 movies in particular that I think you and I have singled out. Let's start with one that we've yet to talk on the podcast, I don't think. You've just seen The Naked Gun.
Yes.
The reboot starring Liam Neeson.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this film?
I fucking loved this movie. And I knew that I would because everyone else I spoke to love it. By the way, we are sipping our martinis thanks to Dan Murphy.
Thanks to Dan Murphy's. We are still sipping martinis. Nobody beats Dan's.
Exactly.
And I made the martini. It's really good.
It's really good.
So go back, listen to the recipe, make it yourself.
I just thought that was such a funny movie, and it like sparked something in me where I was like, wow, comedy is back.
Yeah.
And it's not the only funny movie that was released this year. It just was the only one that I saw that was like, it was giving Austin Powers.
Yes.
It was giving
broadly
classic,
silly spoof parody.
exactly,
genre
Anchorman,
satire.
whatever, during that, golden era of the 2000s where we had a lot of comedy.
Yes.
And they were the biggest movies in cinema.
Really heightened gags, and it's all about gag set pieces.
Yes.
I think it's quite spectacular. In particular, there's one set piece that I felt very new school for the Naked Gun, which was an extended set piece involving a freaking snowman coming to life.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
Great surrealist comedy, so funny. The Naked Gun, it plays so well with the crowd, but I think it would play, because it's so dense with jokes. You watched it at home by yourself?
I did, well, with my brother, actually.
With your brother?
And he was cracking up.
I think it's a perfect way to watch a film like this. Like, if you've missed it in the cinema,
Yeah.
I think because of the gag density,
Yeah.
there may have been full gags you would have missed in the cinema that you can catch at home now.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed this movie. Another one that we both loved, and we were lucky to be joined by Michelangelo Corvino on the show, is Splitsville.
Yes.
Splitsville, talk about Austin Powers, bringing back my favorite quote Jay Roach, the director of Austin Powers, said about those movies is... comedy can be stylish, or style can be funny. And I think Splitsville really captures that for me.
Yeah.
I think it's got this excellent style. It's got these incredible comedic set pieces of heightening stakes. I think Michelangelo Corvino understands the stakes of comedy so well. I think that fight sequence is my comedy highlight of the year. The fight sequence
That
between
was
these
so
two
funny.
squabbling best friends, I think is just unreal. Unreal comedy.
I know.
I really, really love this film, and I was so excited to see how much it had been embraced by not only our community around this show, but by friends and fans and people that I know out there that are loving film and cinema at the moment. Really, really love Splitsville. What were your thoughts on it?
I loved it too. And it's probably a film that if we hadn't had Michael in, maybe wouldn't come across my radar in the same way. So I'm so glad that he came in, and everyone should go back and listen to that episode because he was a joy.
One of my favorite episodes we've done this year.
He was fantastic. And it really was, from the outset, you might think, oh, this is a very sophisticated looking comedy. And it was, but at the same time, there was literal physical gags. So many physical gags.
I want to have you on this shit. That's such a good, beautifully put point.
Yeah.
Like you said, it looks very sophisticated, but it's very simple. It's like human gags, heightened gags, funny.
Long, but you keep thinking, how much longer can this go for? And it just gets funnier and funnier. People who have seen it, I'll just say the goldfish moment. Oh my God, I was cracking up. I'm going to say I was cracking up so many times this episode.
What do you think about this film, watching it? Like, people are about to be at home for Christmas and stuff. Watching this with family, I think could actually be quite fun.
It could be. It depends what relationship you have with your family, because it is raunchy as well.
It is raunchy, but I feel like this could be cross-generational. Maybe
I agree.
I'm thinking for people our age and then their parents.
Yes, someone who grew up with maybe, dare I say, loving a Woody Allen film or two.
Yeah.
You know, just funny and stylish.
Like, I would watch this with my mum, because my mum showed me a lot of Italian comedies growing up, and watching those, talking to Michael about those, I think this could play very well.
Yeah.
The last film that I would like to go in depth with you on, because I think if there's a year that a film that really symbolizes what I think comedy's capable of doing in this year is Friendship, starring Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. I really, really dug this film. It is this exciting blend of new school comedy delivered in a way that charmingly feels like a throwback to yesteryear, which is those comedy star vehicles of cinema past.
Yeah.
I'm talking about stuff like The Jerk. I'm talking about shit that I grew up watching, like Corky Romano and Dirty Work. And even like this weird one I kept thinking about, this Harland Williams film called Rocket Man. But it is those films where you go, we've got this great comedic performer. They have a strong persona, a strong point of view, a strong comedic voice. Let's make a vehicle to surround this person and make a comedy for them. And I think Friendship is the balancing of those two that felt very, very fresh to me. And beyond that, I think it is like the perfect distillation of Robertson's taste and sensibilities. And I think it's going to be permeating the psyches of film comedy nerds for decades to come. Like, I think this is quite a special comedy.
Yep.
And seeing it in a packed cinema, I saw 2 sold-out screenings of this movie.
Really?
I went to 2 sold-out screenings days apart from each other. Electric experience.
Yeah.
In particular, there is one extended surrealist piece of comedy, which
I know exactly what you're talking
it's
about.
a tripping sequence. I'll
Yeah.
just say that's a tripping sequence where I think it is fucking the best
Yeah.
comedy set piece in decades.
Yeah.
Like, I think it is so special.
I'm laughing thinking about it. It's so funny.
And you love this movie as well?
Loved it. Loved it so much. I knew I would because I'm only human and I love Tim Robinson. I just love him so much. He's
Let
one of
the
the
record show I'm beyond human.
He is one of the funniest people in the whole entire world. And funny to find out that he did not write this film. I
Yeah.
assume that he wrote it because it's so in his voice. But then I have to assume that they just let him improv. Well,
Muck
I did
around.
because you can kind of go online and see some improv scenes with him and like Conor O'Malley that they cut out and stuff like that. So he definitely was allowed to improv, and that probably allowed it to be a film with its own voice, but also Tim's, which is obviously so much of the appeal. So I saw it in the cinema as well, and that is such a good way to watch comedy films.
It
Just
truly
everyone
is.
else laughing and like nudging the person next to you, and like, oh, it's just so fun.
I'm going to give a couple of honorable mentions for some other comedy films before we wrap up the episode. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, very special, coming to Australian cinemas very soon.
Cannot wait.
Very, very good film. Dead Lover was another one I saw at a festival that reminded me of, I guess, your Mighty Boosh style of comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very cool. Fuck Toys, the directorial debut of Annapurna Sirium. Incredible film. Feels like John Waters coming back with something really, really new, current, and fresh. I will also give a little shout out to The Phoenician Scheme. Really great film. I wish I could have found room for it on my bigger list of the year. But the last film that I want to mention, because I just watched it, I really enjoyed this film, is Oh Hi, that stars Molly Gordon and future guest of the Last Video Store, Geraldine Viswanathan. And I thought this was really cool.
I'm so excited to see this.
That is a little point towards coming to next year. We've got Geraldine coming on the show. We've recorded already. It's a great episode.
It was so funny.
One of the best ones we've ever done. So stick around for that. It's really good. Very funny. But that is a wrap on the year 2025. We've talked documentaries, comedies, Australian films, a few honorable mentions. So go back and listen to the top 10 in our previous episode. And this is our last episode of the year. We're going to take a little Christmassy New Year's break. And then over January, we're going to do something that I'm very excited for. We're going to be re-releasing some of my favorite episodes, or some of your favorite episodes from our early history of the podcast. Some of our most fun guests, some of our most interesting conversations, some things that we think deserve another look. So we're going to be releasing some classic episodes of January. And what I would be asking the Return Shoot Rats to do is, if you have friends that you think would like this show, point them to those episodes. They're going to be coming out over January. So I really think this would be a fun way to get your friends onto the show.
Please do.
And share them with them. I think it'd be a really fun way to do it. We've got some great listeners for our Best of the Year episodes. So jumping off those, while we're taking some time off, rather than just leave a little blank space, I want to re-release some of our favorite episodes to get people onto the show this way. And also in next year, looking ahead, I am doing my live comedy festival show around Australia, Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, maybe some more cities. Let it be known if you want them. Comment on the videos and all that stuff. But my new show is called VHS. It is about misadventures in loving films, talking about some of my favorite movies or movies I have great stories around, and telling the stories in the genre of those films. So I've got a crime story, and I'm telling it like a Scorsese film. That kind of feeling. So check it out. It's called VHS. Ticket links are in the show notes. And I want to say thank you all to the Return Shoots rats out there listening and watching The Last Video Store. It's been such a great year for the show, but in particular, such a great year with connecting with so many of you, the audience members. I've been very excited about doing our Employee of the Month. We'll have another one of those next year. And we'll do a little recording with our winner of the first one soon. Maybe while we're taking a little break, something like that. We'll figure it out. But I'm really looking forward to that because I want to hear what you guys think about film. I've been loving it so much. So in these episodes, also leave us what your favorite film of the year was.
Oh, please. I'd love to hear that from the research. I can't say research.
It's actually hard to say. And we had a martini during the episode. And I made it strong, dude. I made it strong.
Drink responsibly. Drink wise.
Drink wise. Drink responsibly. That's all we can say. But thank you so much for listening to the show and sharing so much of your love of film with me. Genuinely, that means so much to me. So we'll be back next year with new episodes. We've already got a bunch in the can. I'll tell you what they are. We've got Geraldine Viswanathan, who I think is so funny. Great episode. One of my film heroes, Athena Rachel Sangari, her new film Harvest was mentioned in our Best of the Year in our previous episode. I hope you get to see that film, but I'm really looking forward to hearing that chat because genuinely she's one of my film heroes. So getting to talk to her. And there'll be very many more great episodes down the pipeline next year. That's just a tease of two of my favorites that I know I've got in the bag. They'll be coming out very early in the new year. But until then, enjoy film, enjoy the company of the people that you love, and have a great time watching movies. That's all I care about. You know, I said enjoy the company of people you love. The only thing I love is movies. I don't like people. I just like movies.
And I love you too, Alexi.
I love you too, but delete that from the episode.